Good morning, welcome to Friday's live trading. This is Kim speaking at around about 8:36 in the morning. I was just looking at these markets. I'm just going to switch back the room and put you in together, so just bear with me. So there we are, looking at the euro. I was looking to see if we can maybe get a short off this. Target wise though, initial target, okay, we could be looking at maybe that 4 hourly 500 looks a lot better, but in the shorter time frames, my concern is there's been quite a lot of defense around this 1690 area, maybe even higher. So with the daily pivot sitting above us, would need a stop up here, would need target wise is, I'm sort of just looking at these sort of somewhere around about 117, so there's not a great deal in this at all at the moment. It's only a 20 pip range, so for me at the moment I just need to be a bit patient. Yes, it could at some stage roll through this sort of area here, but I'm not convinced. As I say, it's been held on to pretty well. I'm looking at the order book that sits below, and what's below, and it's net buy orders all sitting through there. There's not as if there's a catalyst for any sort of change there. Any sell orders sitting, net sell orders sitting below. It's really largely support sitting there. So just needed to be a bit patient on this. It may still come around and catch that daily pivot and give a better opportunity than just watching the pound as I'm looking at this, and it's the pound's just consolidating around where it is. It got a little bit overbought, but not surprising from where it was. That ran through a load of buy orders earlier. Just bring that into play. So that was just a dash through into these buy orders earlier, so that they've been basically, or net buy orders, they've been taken out quite quickly. There are a few more above, but not necessarily any significance. But the trouble with the pound I have this morning is the risk of Brexit talks are still going on. It is supposed to be the last day of these, when the deal was supposed to be cut by the deadline that Boris Johnson and co put down, but we'll just have to wait and see. So just pausing for a moment. So just selling the euro here at I'm just going to pop the Dubry in here. Let me just get rid of that. Don't need that bit there. So just selling the euro here at 17.10 here. Now it's going to be it's hit the daily pivot, tick that out the way. I'll put a stop just the other side at 1726 is probably, I just need to adjust that a little bit down to 1726 actually. Let's just check across. 27 on the 100. The 100's already been hit anyway. I'll leave it there actually for now. So it's about a 15 pip stop on that. So we'll see if this will actually, I was looking earlier back to these lows here, looking to see if we can get it back into these lows. That's the plan. So what I'm looking at in terms of target here, then we've got the lows here. I will maybe see how things come out, but this 1680 area here is the key area I'm looking for it to get back to. May look at taking part position off at 1695, but the ultimate target there is 1680, which ties in nicely with that 4 hourly 500. So we'll just see if it can break those prior lows. As I said, look at price action when it gets down to this area, 1690-ish area actually. Just see 1695 around that area. It may hold it up again. We'll just see. As I say, 1680 is absolute for this trade. So in summary for this trade, what I've looked at is this overall pattern here. The euro has been heading south pretty well, lower highs coming through here. We've seen this retracement this morning. It's weird old times in the mornings here. It's pulled back into its daily pivot, ticked that statistical target off the way. I'm looking towards the second statistical target, if I can say that, in terms of we generally get an R1 or an S1 hit most days, and looking in the trend here towards this S1. As I say, I've got potential part exits in that. There has been pretty much a support area around this sort of 1690 area. I'm not going to be blind to that, so we'll see what happens around that, whether I'll take part trade off, but it's got to start moving first, of course. It's just chipping around where we are. The pound has caught a little bit looking elsewhere in the markets. It's just catching and pushing up a little bit further. It's got a bit overbought where it's sitting into its daily pivot, but that has Brexit risk in terms of, I think, any deals and whatever else may have a better upside for the pound than it may for the euro. So I'll leave that, and also obviously the risk the other way, leave that alone. Yen's just gaining a little bit of strength here, but trouble is you don't know with the yen whether it's risk on or risk off rather, or it's actually doing quite well, and the movements are so small. If you look at the side here, look, we're going in increments of just 2 pips, so very small price action sitting there on that yen. Okay, so we'll leave this to run and see what happens. Okay, so I've just literally shown where we are in terms of risk reward on here as well. So we're around about a 2.2 down to the lows there if it gets there. So as I say, the stop is well out the way out of this at the moment. It's almost into R3 territory, which but we'll just keep that out of the way for now. At some stage, if we get to sort of this sort of partial way, I may start reducing that stop, which obviously improve the near-term risk reward, but will not change it from where it's set off there. So okay, well, as I say, just leave this to roll now. Okay, so just stopped out on this euro dollar trade. It started off okay, moved in the direction, but found a bounce off the 8 o'clock pivot this morning. It's put a higher low in through this point. It looked for a short while at least that we were going to be saved by the bell, but the bids caught the euro at this stage, and it's continuing. So it has got a couple of areas up above us that might just still stall things. We had the 60 minute 50 is sitting just here, but 30 minute 100 has been tested before, so I wasn't really too fussed by that. It could be that we're just going to see a bit of a flourish into the weekend. We'll see, but certainly spot. And at the moment, it's still giving overbought sort of signals coming back in again for now on this time frame, but just looking at this just to see if I might take another short on it. So I'm still looking at it, but the only thing is it's looking where the resistance is, and if it's just down to that 60.50, well, as I say, it has been touched before. Maybe well worth looking if we to do this, whether it gets back to the 21 sort of area, back to that 4 hourly 21. But for now, it's put a higher low in the short time frames. Much more confirmed higher low. It done as a sort of mini one there, but confirmed higher low. And just on the price alone, just reading the price action at this stage here, higher low, and as I say, getting a bit more momentum. Looking at the size of these green bars starting to increase in size, so don't want to be standing in front of the bus and trying to jump back in yet. May look at it later. It is Friday. I don't often take a trade too late into the afternoon, but we'll see what else is happening. The pound has just literally tanked, and then catching a bid almost straight away. It seems that traders really are protecting this. It's not. Bearing in mind, Boris has just said that it looks like we'll be ending up with a no deal option. The markets have really sort of swept it away a bit. Yes, it's had a bit of a correction, and yes, the pound over the last week has been seeing a sort of a correction, but hardly anything that's significant relative to when you look back at sort of the no deal prospects previously, where it would have dropped 200 or 300 pips. Me thinks that people don't really trust this positioning, and at some point a deal will be made. But anyway, that's speculation, isn't it? Technically though, just looking technically at the pound at this stage, Well, yeah, it's rolled over a little bit, but it's still arguably still in this sort of bit of an upward trend here. Short term, yeah, it's shown lower high, not quite confirmed yet. Still, with, as I mentioned in this yesterday in the updates, still got this low here, which is higher than this prior low. And until we sort of start breaking this point here, this 2850 area, which has been guarded pretty well, if we start breaking out, well, then that confirms this as a lower high. But at the moment, we're still effectively just purely price-wise, technically looking that things are bullish. Anyway, I shall scan around these markets and see if anything else is available, but otherwise just be patient and wait for something to set up. So just for the record here at the moment, so there's the position. This is, as I say, but this is only a 5k account. I'm trading this off in terms of demonstration. So there we go, $60, around about 1% down there for this morning. So for this morning, because it's been very much a game of two halves a lot of this week in terms of Monday. Well, started off with a positive 0.9 and then gave it back in the afternoon on that occasion. But then Wednesday in the trading room, 1% risk loss in the first place, then we took 1.9 out in the second half, putting us ahead, but just tripped back a little bit at the moment for a -1, but we'll see how we go. It's been a more difficult week for me overall trading. It's been choppy-ish, long periods like so, but I've been trying to pick the battles carefully, but finding myself having to pick a couple of fights on a couple of occasions. Okay, so just been watching this euro. It's got overbought on the 30-minute time frame up here, and it's into its 4-hourly 20 simple. It's a couple of other things that sort of tie through, but just looking at its position, say it's a bit overbought. It's pushed up a bit hard. This isn't the best risk reward sort of sitting here. It's not much in the way of pips, but it doesn't matter in terms of pips. It's more about what we can possibly get out of this. So I am just got a ticket again. Looking, I'm just for speed. I'm just going to go with the same size as before anyway on this, because I don't need to be pushing it beyond that. So actually I should be pushing it up one. There we go. So just looking to see if this triggers on the break here. If it does, well, then I've just put the potential around this. I don't need to be massively away from this position. Just adjusted the position size a little bit there. So we're looking at about 11 pips stop here. Just watching it on its 5-minute 8 actually. 5-minute 8 may just hold it up there, so just patience. Got the level just below that. What it will do here is give me effectively a lower high. That's what I'm looking for in the trigger wise. So, but also being sensible of just watching that moving average. So I've just made it look a little bit clearer here. You see on this 2-minute time frame. So I'm using the higher time frames to take the trade. It's a 30-minute position, but looking right down to 2 minutes to actually look for a trigger of that position. Stop loss is around about 71, so I'm looking at about 17.31 to sell at. Stop loss looking at about 41, 42, so about 11 pips. As I say, risk reward, it's not the greatest, but the probabilities looks okay around these, and it's set up. It looks a lot steeper on one trade time frame than the others. Just waiting to see if this triggers. I'll show you the other charts, but upper time frames. Just pausing. In fact, I'll just do it now very briefly. So it's quite steep run up here on the on this 30-minute time frame. So right, where's my ticket gone? There it is. So just poising here, looking at, as I say, to sell around about 130. So I just want it to break that 21, that a little late really. Give me a lower high as well at the same time, confirms that sort of 2-minute 21 sitting there as well. There we go. Are we going? Yep, there we go. So sold there. So short on the euro once again. Stop. I just need to adjust that on the positioning actually. So I haven't got any stop in there at the moment, so I'm just going to pop in a stop here. As I said, it needs to be 11, around about 11 pips. Confirm that. Let's see what comes from this. It's immediately taking a bit of a bounce here. $21 proving a bit strong for a moment. But there we are. It's quite an aggressive type of trade, but often they work well. So see how it runs. So just running up to the bigger time frames. This was the 21 it run into. It's looking like it might run up and stop me through here. It's not put the brakes on quite as quick. It's just as I said, it just got a little signal here, bit of an overbought signal. They often come back nicely towards their 21s here, around about 17.15, hence the target around that area. But we'll see. Win rate on this is round about onto that 21, is sitting there about 55-60% at the moment. So just leave this to run. Okay, so just stopped out of that second trade. It was obviously tightish stop, but the risk reward and just the strategy for that particular trade is that you do what I did. Stop just above the highs. The dynamics just to stay in the trade, otherwise just to get be right is often wrong. If that makes sense. In other words, if I was to put a 20 or so pip stop on that just to see if I could stay in that trade, the thing is the target is not going to be changing. I would still be looking at exactly the same target. So doing it too often, my risk picture is changed altogether. This is right on the cusp of whether or not to take the trade anyway. It's a 1.5 to 1 in terms of return. It's just on that cusp of whether or not to take it, but with the probability it makes it worthwhile, but as I say, not on this particular occasion. So on Friday's live trading, I think I'm going to wind it up. I'm not going to place any more trades today. I'm trading against this euro, which seems to obviously be wanting to continue its dash up. I'm not going to carry on shorting. It has earlier on maybe put this slightly higher low in. Bigger picture, it's still somewhat iffy. It's moved back into that upper trend at the moment. So I'm going to, as I say, stand aside on that. The pound, it's just too risky for me to be trading. It's too whipsawy. The posturing going on there, just not worth doing anything to. So I shall keep out of that. And the yen, it's got such, and the Aussie, and they've got so little in the way of movement. There's nothing there at the moment which I want to trade. So rather than carry on chasing, I'm not trying to chase this market. It was just a second setup that occurred for me on the euro. It was worth an attempt for sure, but not to be in this particular case. Off it surged again, so I shall sit out of it for the rest of the afternoon now. I wish you a great weekend. Bye for now.